start by going live. Same entry task as last week. This time you'll actually have a place to turn these new spreadsheets in on Friday because, hi, good morning. Are you looking for one AirPod?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. You're welcome. Okay, I see. One sec. All right. Anyway, start with updating your budget spreadsheets. I have to do that as well because you'll be turning in your updated version at the end of the week for your March transactions. So remember, we're just trying to build that habit. Come expecting to update that budget sheet if you don't do it outside of class, which you totally can, but just know that that's where we're going to be beginning as per usual. So while you're doing that, while you're kind of listening, I want to just talk a little bit about some of the emailing resources. I know this is like a little bit of snoozeville, but it is an important adult skill that just is one of those things that comes with time and practice. I have, if you look at your thread, which is right here, lots of links that you can check out. But I'm going to be kind of going you through my emailing process that I've learned through emailing to get business done adult-wise. And then this is all stuff that you're interested in later. Outlook rules does not mean rules that you have to follow while you're using Outlook. It is a thing that automatically kind of gets rid of spam email because I personally get so many and I'm so tired of getting them. So there's a way that I figured out that I want to share with you guys on how to make Outlook actually get the emails that you want instead of the million emails that you don't really need necessarily. Okay, so anyways, what we're doing today, your actual activity to practice this, is to, at the end of the period, I'll have you send me a Canvas message covering these big things. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Emails always need subjects. Even if it's just the subject of like, need help, right? It's pretty dramatic, kind of scary because it's vague. But you always need some type of subject because that's the first thing people are going to read and decide whether or not this email is worth their time. So since we're live, your guys' phone should be put away just for this brief little second. I promise you, you'll have some time. I'm not going to talk about emailing for 50 straight minutes. You always need a subject. And these subjects should be relevant to what you're trying to get out of the conversation. Emailing is one of those weird things that we're still clinging on to, even though I think a lot of us would much rather prefer just texting or something a little bit less formal. But email is still something that we have to participate in. So it helps to kind of get it done as fast as possible, right? And as efficiently as possible. You need a relevant subject line. You want to keep it short so that you can quickly kind of peruse and see if this email is worth reading, if it's something you need to focus on. And you want to include in the subject, this is something that I found very helpful, the words action item. So what action item means, if you need something to get done, you can put action item and then the thing that needs to get done. If your email is a lot less serious, and I'll give you examples of each of these here in a second, you can say no action required at some point. And then that tells the reader, oh, sick, I can read this at a later date and focus on what I need to. So what your guys' action items might look like is need help with assignments / curious about grades / letter of recommendation, right? All things that are going to be relevant to your guys' lives. But if you include this action item, the teacher's business brain or any other adult that you're kind of conversing with is going to go, oh, okay, I need to listen to this. I need to be a little bit more aware of what this is trying to say. And this is all kind of contained info within the subject line. Does not have to be, email's kind of like a dance. There's a way that you have to do it that gets it done faster than otherwise, in a way. A lot of teachers that taught me when I was in like my computer class in elementary school, when we did like the email unit, was keeping language very formal And that's kind of true, kind of sort of true. Especially when you're emailing someone like a supervisor or a figure of authority, someone over you in some relationship. You don't want to be too casual, but people are loosening up, and I'm not going to tell you guys how to exactly, you don't have to write this super stuffy, like big words, all correct punctuation. Like, it's not that deep anymore. People care a lot more about what the email is trying to accomplish. What is the effort of this communication, more so than how you say it necessarily. So that's our next biggest thing is formality is good, but not a huge focus. Let's say that. Punctuation and grammar, however, do help. You want to kind of approach an email like an essay. Punctuation plus grammar help, just so that you look, just so that it's easier to actually understand what you're asking. Okay. Then you get to the actual body part. You think of this like a body paragraph. Body paragraphs and essays have purposes. This is going to be the main idea of what you're trying to get out of your email. Again, keep these short. We get so many all the time, and not a lot of them are worth reading. So you want to keep this just like relevant details. Time frames are hugely helpful too. So like if we're sticking with, I need help on an assignment, when can you, you want to tell them when you're available for help. When you need it by is another important time frame thing. And how long it should take. So they're not going to be every single email every single time, but these are just kind of in that guidelines section right here of our emailing practice. So it's just stuff that I kind of want you guys to be aware of, so you know how to do this a little bit more than just kind of going in blind. The body should have relevant details about what you're asking or what you're trying to gain. Professional emails are a lot like essays. That's going to be a common sort of comparison that I'm going to keep making. Relevant details about what you're asking, time frame, and just also be understanding that you guys are both working, of work responsibilities, and that it can't happen instantly. Instantly. Okay. And then finally, your last little part, we'll talk about signatures here in a second. There's a ton of different varieties. If you've taken graphic design, there's a whole way that you can create them very visually interestingly. A lot of the times the signature's job is just to provide contact information. Hi, good morning. Contact info, or just stuff they should know. Like in my teacher email, I have my full name. So my name, I have my pronouns, I have my email address to get me back at, as well as a phone number. And then in my big one, I also have like the building I work at, wherever you work, school or building you work. And then also what part of a team you're on. So for example, my department is CTE. So I'll put that in my email. So when I'm talking to parents or other people who want to know like what I do and where I do it, this is more optional. Name, pronouns, and how to get back to you is going to be the most important part of your little closing of your email. So these are all things that just like seem pretty obvious, but the more effort you put into making sure all these boxes are checked, the more successful your email communication is going to be. Again, they're guidelines, not rules. And I'll give you an example of what each of these pieces could look like. Let's say in example 1, I need help on an assignment. Okay, so my subject is going to be one of my most crucial parts of my email. The first thing that people are going to be reading. Action item, need help with assignment name. Just put assignment name like this. Also, some more relevant info to put in the subject. Your name, because your teacher's going to get a lot of emails. So if they can quickly figure out who sent it when and what they need, that's going to be a lot more successful than if you just sent something without some of this important detail here. Okay. The body, we're going to have some, I'm just going to go kind of talking points real quick. You know, name the assignment, talk about what you struggled with. I'm going to just pretend that these are spelled right. What went well, right? And then when can we figure out what's going on, just for example. That's your time frame portion. That's the other really important thing about an email. Email is what's called asynchronous, right? If we remember back to the COVID trigger words. It's not going to be something that happens instantly. So that time frame is a really important aspect of the body in that case. And then our signatures, just get back to me when we can. It's one that I use a lot. Because that's understanding of their work responsibilities. And then we got name, email, address. And then I like to put my pronouns near my name, because it's all keeping the information in a flow of like, this makes sense. I know you guys get this. I think I'm over explaining a little bit, but with these tips, it's going to make things a lot easier to get done. And before I have you guys like just practice by sending me a Canvas message, I have provided some templates to skip all of this so that you can just quickly fill it in, same way that we fill in our letters of recommendation. These are kind of geared towards like sales, if you're working specifically in like an email kind of marketing, or you know, you're managing a business where you're sending a lot of emails. These help you get started because they're pretty general. They're pretty in the spam kind of direction, but they do help you get started so you don't have to think about it too hard. This has a lot of those signature examples that I was talking about with the visuals to them. This is not always necessary because it still is just trying to focus on this info right here. Where was it? Right here. These guys. Yeah, I'm definitely over explaining a little bit. So what I'll do in a bit is talk about Outlook rules to help you figure out like my favorite way to use Outlook rules is to automatically mark spam emails as read and move them into a folder that I can check later if I need to. I'll show you how to do that. We'll probably do that at the start of tomorrow just to have the full coverage, and we'll talk more about it. Anyway, like Principal Hennig was saying, these 6 straight weeks in between the breaks are tough, even for teachers. We understand. We're also very tired. But we also have work to get done still. So I'm keeping this unit or this day pretty light, just so we're getting into just another adult skill for the week. And again, this whole week won't be about emails. It's going to be a lot about communicating. But email is a good place to start. So what I want you guys to do now that you know the guidelines of email in general, I want you guys to send me just a random Canvas message with all of these items in order. You can choose how you want to do your subject, whether you want to have an action item, you want to have something for me to read, or you can say something like no action necessary, right? You guys got it. You send lots of emails, you send lots of Canvas messages, but I want you to practice these guidelines with me now. So just send me a Canvas message with each of these thingies so that I can see that you're making an effort to give email ideas a try. Does this make sense? This is really, really simple. It's just something that I do want you to be aware of. Sound good? Cool. All right. Good deal. I'm gonna close this. Well, actually, I'll paste it in the thread if you really need. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, I'll wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening. Send me an email. Just practicing these big ideas.